how do the feel-good chemicals, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins, balance out the stress chemicals of cortisol, adrenaline, and norepinephrine? That's what we're going to talk about today, as well as light and the harmony between all of those hormones. But first, sunrise looks a little bit different today than it has the last couple of days. And I wanted to make sure that you understood that light is light, whether it is behind the clouds or not. This light is just fine. It still has the same amount of information for our naked eyes to activate the suprachiasmatic nucleus to get the domino effect rolling. So that the hormone cascades can function optimally. You don't have to have direct sunrise, sunlight without clouds into your eyes. If it's cloudy, raining, snowing, what have you, just go outside as soon as sunrise occurs or as soon as you wake up. So the first two hormones that we're going to talk about are the top two, dopamine and serotonin, because those two are the most affected by light. This is all the feel-good hormones. It's shortened to DOSE, D-O-S-E, endorphins here. Excuse me. So these two are the most impacted by winter because of the change in light. Dopamine is that reward and motivational hormone, and it gives you a super good kind of like internal high when you have succeeded at something. However, it burns out really fast, and it is impacted not only by light but by the counter of progesterone and estrogen. Serotonin is also impacted by light, which is why we get winter blues with these top two, since they are impacted by light. It's also impacted greatly by gut health, and it is your mood stabilizer, sort of helping you feel content with life. It is also impacted, like I said, by light, but it's also impacted by estrogen. So when we get into that luteal phase, you've got both of these two really awesome hormones, these two really awesome feel good, motivational, stabilizing hormones that just don't reach even half of their peak. So that's why we don't focus on them during the winter time at all, because no matter how much we chase them, we will burn out even faster. So if you're going to focus on these two during winter, you're going to have an even deeper, more rooted, more debilitating winter depression than you have ever had before. And that's why we focus on oxytocin, because it is not impacted by light. It is not impacted by any other hormone like estrogen or progesterone. Oxytocin is the hormone of safety and love and connection and security. And when it gets dark and it gets cold, our primal self can feel not safe. So when we focus on oxytocin, it helps to offset those scaries. And the last one is endorphins. And endorphins are typically associated with exercise, that runner's high, but it's not only exercise, it's laughter. It's a really long warm bath. It's dancing. It is anything that gives you that big release of emotions like crying or somatic shaking releases endorphins. And it is not impacted by light either. So these are the ones that people mostly know about and are impacted by light and other hormones. Specifically for women, it's going to negatively be impacted in our luteal phase. The bottom two are not impacted by light, and it is not impacted by any other hormones. So we are going to focus down here, but specifically here this winter, so that we don't have the winter sadness because of the reduction of light and it's cold and we're stuck inside and all of that. Because if we focus on dopamine and even serotonin, but a lot of people focus on dopamine by sticking to super strict schedules and making sure that it's all every day you do things at this certain time, and every week it's all scheduled out and planned out. That's what got us seasonal depression in the first place. It's not living cyclically. So when we focus on the cycles of the light of the day every single day, understanding where we are in our menstrual and our infradian cycle, which changes almost a little every day. So every week is something different. So each of the phases needs something different. And then the annual cycle of the earth, then that's when we get the relief from the pressures of winter depression and seasonal depression and those winter blues. We can use light and other hormones to our benefit. These are our 3 stress hormones. This is cortisol. We all know about cortisol. We know about adrenaline because of fight or flight, and norepinephrine. So these are the stress hormones that we all need to regulate and balance, and that's where the oxytocin comes into play, because these are oxytocin counters each one of these. So we've heard a lot of, I have high cortisol or cortisol face or cortisol belly. That is offset by sunlight and oxytocin. The adrenaline, the rush around the stress, the sticking to the rigid schedules that are out of cyclical alignment is balanced with light and oxytocin. Norepinephrine is that a hormone that keeps us focused and alert and engaged, and it too is balanced with light and oxytocin. So as you can see, this is the time, this is oxytocin season. This is when we focus on things that reconnect us to warmth, safety, security, because these are not going to win. This is what gets us into the seasonal depression in the first place, is the hyper focus on rigidity and keeping to a schedule that we're not biologically meant to have, and that causes stress, and we try to over focus on something that we're just not meant to do. We're just not meant to do.